There is a prison that has no walls, no guards, no locked doors, and yet millions of people spend their entire lives inside it. The prison is built from one simple question: what will people think of me? It sounds harmless, but look carefully at your life, and you may discover how many decisions this question has already made for you. The clothes you wear, the way you speak, the career you pursue, the opinions you hide, the people you try to impress, the dreams you abandon before anyone could laugh at them. Sometimes, even your personality. Human beings naturally want acceptance. Thousands of years ago, rejection from the group could mean danger. Belonging offered protection. So our minds became extremely sensitive to how other people perceive us. But today, that ancient instinct can become a cage. Imagine a young man in ancient Athens who dreams of becoming a sculptor. Every morning, he passes a workshop filled with marble statues. He watches the craftsmen work. Something inside him comes alive. But his family expects him to become a merchant. His friends think sculpture is foolish. So he ignores the feeling. Years pass, he becomes successful. People respect him. His family is proud. From the outside, everything looks perfect. But every morning, he still passes the workshop. And every morning, he wonders what his life could have been. This is one of the most painful ways to lose yourself. Not through failure, through approval. You build a life everyone admires, and quietly realize that you never chose it. Marcus Aurelius understood this contradiction. We spend our lives worrying about the opinions of people whose own lives we would never want to live. Think about that. Someone criticizes your ambition. Do you want their life? Someone judges the way you dress. Do you want their character? Someone laughs at what you're building. Would you exchange your future for theirs? If not, why does their opinion carry so much authority? A stranger can make one comment, and suddenly you question something you spent months deciding. Someone laughs, and an idea disappears. Someone disapproves, and you change direction. They may forget the conversation 5 minutes later, but you may live with the consequences for 20 years. That is an extraordinary amount of power to give another human being, and most of the time, they never even ask for it. We hand it to them. The Stoics believe that freedom begins by separating what belongs to you from what belongs to the world. Your choices belong to you. Your principles belong to you. Your effort belongs to you. But reputation? That exists inside other people's minds. You cannot completely control it. You can be generous, and someone will call you manipulative. You can be confident, and someone will call you arrogant. You can be quiet, and someone will think you are weak. You can speak openly, and someone will think you talk too much. You can succeed, and someone will resent you. You can fail, and someone will laugh. There is no version of you that escapes judgment completely. And once you understand that, a strange possibility appears. If judgment is unavoidable, why sacrifice your life trying to avoid it? Imagine standing before 1,000 mirrors. Each mirror reflects a slightly different version of your face. One makes you taller, another shorter, one beautiful, another distorted. You could spend your entire life adjusting yourself, trying to look perfect in every reflection. But the problem is not your face. The problem is expecting every mirror to reflect you identically. People are those mirrors. Everyone sees you through their own experiences. Insecurities, values, expectations, and fears. Someone may dislike you because you remind them of someone else. Someone may admire you because you possess something they want. Someone may judge a decision because they would be too afraid to make it themselves. Their perception of you is never entirely about you. Yet people destroy themselves trying to manage those perceptions. They enter rooms and immediately calculate, how should I stand? What should I say? Am I talking too much? Too little? Did that joke sound stupid? Do they think I'm strange? Should I pretend to like what they like? And eventually, social interaction becomes performance. Instead of asking, what do I actually think? You ask, what answer will make them like me? Instead of, what do I actually want, you ask, what choice will make me look successful? And slowly, the audience becomes the author of your life. This is why approval can be dangerous. It feels like love, but sometimes it functions like a leash. As long as you behave in the expected way, you receive approval. Change direction, and suddenly the approval disappears. If losing someone's approval is enough to control your behavior, then they do not need change to control you. They only need disappointment. The fear of disappointing others has buried countless lives. People remain in careers they hate, relationships that ended emotionally years ago, friendships built entirely around an old version of themselves. They are afraid that changing will make someone uncomfortable. But growth almost always disappoints someone. The moment you develop boundaries, someone who benefited from your lack of boundaries may call you selfish. The moment you become confident, someone who preferred you insecure may say you've changed. The moment you pursue something unusual, someone who chose safety may call you unrealistic. And perhaps they are right about one thing. You have changed. That is what living is supposed to do to you. A seed that refuses to change never becomes a tree. But there is an important distinction. Not caring what people think does not mean becoming insensitive. It does not mean ignoring advice. It does not mean treating everyone badly and calling it freedom. The wise person listens. They examine criticism. They ask whether there is truth inside it. If there is, they learn. If there isn't, they let it pass. The difference is that they do not automatically confuse another person's opinion with reality. An opinion is information, not a command. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire filled with people who judged him constantly. Some praised him, some hated him, some wanted something from him. If he allowed every voice to determine his direction, he would become incapable of governing anything, including himself. So he repeatedly returned to his own principles. Not, does everyone approve, but, is this right? That question is much harder, because once you stop using approval as your compass, you become responsible for developing one of your own. You need values, principles, judgment. You must decide what kind of person you want to become, without waiting for applause to confirm it. And sometimes, you will have to walk alone for a while. But there is something worse than walking alone. Reaching the end of your life surrounded by people, and realizing that the person they loved was a character you created to please them. The first step toward freedom is not making everyone accept who you are. It is recognizing that they never will. Some will understand you, some won't. Some will admire your choices, some will judge them. And none of that changes the responsibility you have to actually live your own life. There is something almost everyone eventually realizes. Most people are thinking about you, far less than you imagine. You enter a room and worry about your appearance. You stumble over a sentence and replay it for hours. You make an awkward joke and think everyone remembers. You fail publicly and imagine people discussing it long after you leave. But while you are thinking about what they think of you, they are probably thinking about what you think of them. Everyone is standing beneath their own imaginary spotlight. Imagine walking through an ancient marketplace. Hundreds of people surround you. A merchant worries whether customers respect him. A soldier wonders whether others think he looks strong. A young woman worries about her clothing. A student fears sounding foolish. From your perspective, everyone seems to be watching you. From theirs, you are simply another person in the crowd. This is one of the great illusions of self-consciousness. We experience ourselves as the center of our world, so we unconsciously imagine ourselves closer to the center of everyone else's. But we aren't. Think about the embarrassing moments you've witnessed other people experience. Someone pronounced something incorrectly, someone tripped, someone said something awkward, someone wore something unusual. How many of those moments do you remember clearly? Probably very few. And yet, when it happens to you, it feels unforgettable. Seneca understood how imagination magnifies suffering. Often the event itself lasts seconds, The suffering continues because we recreate an audience inside our minds. We imagine their laughter, their criticism, their judgment, and then we adjust our behavior to satisfy people who may not even be thinking about us. This is how fear becomes a prison without requiring a real jailer. You want to start something, but imagine people laughing if it fails. You want to speak, but imagine sounding stupid. You want to dress differently, but imagine strangers judging you. You want to change your life, but imagine everyone asking questions, so you remain still. And perhaps nobody would have cared nearly as much as you feared. Failure becomes especially frightening when we believe it will become part of our identity. But other people usually see only a moment. You experience the entire story. They see you fall. You know how many times you practiced before falling. They see the failed attempt. You know what you learned from it. And tomorrow, they return to worrying about their own lives. Imagine a young philosopher giving his first speech before hundreds of people. Halfway through, his mind goes blank. Silence. He feels his face become warm. For him, the moment feels eternal. That night, he cannot sleep. He imagines everyone remembering his humiliation. Meanwhile, one audience member is worried about money. Another is thinking about his family. Another barely remembers the speech. The philosopher is suffering before an audience that no longer exists. How many times have you done the same? The truth can feel almost insulting at first. You are not being watched as closely as you think. But once accepted, that truth becomes freedom. Because if people are going to forget most of your mistakes, why not risk making some? If strangers will continue with their lives, why sacrifice yours trying to impress them? Try. Fail. Look foolish occasionally. Change your mind. Start again. Because embarrassment fades, but the regret of never acting can remain for decades. One day, the people whose judgment you feared will be gone, and eventually, so will you. That realization is not depressing, it is liberating. The audience is temporary, the stage is temporary, so stop performing as though every mistake will be remembered forever. Most people are too busy worrying about their own performance to spend their lives analyzing yours. There is a truth most people spend years trying to escape. No matter how good you become, someone will dislike you. You can be generous, and someone will question your intentions. You can be successful, and someone will call you lucky. You can be confident, and someone will call you arrogant. You can remain humble, and someone will think you are weak. You can spend your entire life carefully avoiding conflict, and still become the villain in someone else's story. So perhaps freedom does not come from finally discovering how to make everyone like you. Perhaps freedom begins when you stop requiring them to. Imagine a philosopher walking through ancient Athens carrying a bucket of water. Every person he passes tells him something different. One says he walks too slowly, another says he too quickly. One criticizes his clothes, another laughs at the way he speaks. So the philosopher changes himself after every comment. He walks faster, then slower. He changes his clothing, changes his posture, changes the way he speaks. By sunset, everyone has given him advice, and he no longer remembers how he naturally walked. This is what happens when approval becomes your compass. Every person pulls you in a different direction. Eventually, there is nothing left in the center. The Stoics understood that being disliked is not necessarily evidence that you are doing something wrong. Sometimes, it is simply the price of having principles. The moment you begin saying no, someone loses access to the version of you who always said yes. The moment you establish boundaries, someone who benefited from their absence may become angry. The moment you stop seeking approval, people accustomed to controlling you through disappointment may call you selfish. And this is where your philosophy is tested. It is easy to have principles when everyone applauds them. It is much harder when following those principles costs you approval. Imagine an ancient tree standing alone on a hill. The wind arrives from the east, but the tree does not uproot itself and move west. Tomorrow the wind changes direction. The tree remains. Its stability comes from something hidden beneath the ground. Roots. Your values must become those roots. Without them, every opinion becomes wind, and you will spend your life bending toward whoever spoke last. But having strong roots does not mean refusing to change. A wise person can admit, "I was wrong." They can listen, learn, apologize, grow. What they refuse to do is abandon themselves simply because someone threatens them with disapproval. There is an enormous difference. One is humility, the other is fear. And once you accept that some rejection is unavoidable, something extraordinary happens. You become lighter. You can enter a room without calculating how to impress everyone. You can speak honestly without rehearsing every sentence. You can pursue something meaningful even when others do not understand it. You can fail publicly and survive. You can be disliked and still sleep peacefully. Because your goal is no longer universal approval. Your goal is alignment. To live in a way that matches the principles you claim to believe. At the end of your life, there will be countless opinions about who you were. Some accurate, some completely wrong. But only one person will have lived every second of your life. You. So listen to wisdom. Respect people. Accept criticism when it contains truth. Treat others with dignity. But never confuse kindness with surrendering ownership of yourself. You were not given this life to spend it performing for an audience. The audience changes. The applause fades. The criticism fades too. And eventually, the room becomes silent. What remains is the person you became while everyone was watching. So let some people misunderstand you. Let some people disagree. Let some people walk away. Because you do not become free when everyone finally accepts you. You become free when rejection no longer requires you to abandon yourself.